There was a day when the sky turned into fire, when the world itself screamed, and everything we know about day and night was born out of destruction. Long before life, before oceans, before even time felt steady, our young Earth stood alone in the dark, spinning wildly, fragile, molten, alive. Then it happened. A wandering planet, the size of Mars, came crashing toward us at 20 times the speed of sound. The collision wasn't just impact, it was obliteration. Mountains vaporized in seconds. Oceans of magma erupted into space. A rain of molten rock circled the Earth, glowing like a halo of fire. From that chaos, from that impossible storm of destruction, something beautiful was born. The moon. Not just a satellite, but a piece of us. A fragment of our planet carrying Earth's scars, our ancient fingerprints orbiting forever as a silent witness to our violent beginning. Without that single, fateful collision, there would be no tides, no rhythm to the seas, no nights of wonder under silver light, maybe not even us. This is not just a story about space, it's a story about survival, rebirth, and the unbreakable bond between Earth and the moon. So before we step into this epic moment in cosmic history, hit subscribe, drop a like, and tell us in the comments, what do you think our world would be without the moon? Because now we're going back to the day the Earth was hit. They called it Theia, a name whispered through the dust of creation. Not a myth, not a goddess carved from marble, but a real world, a lost planet that once danced near the orbit of a young, molten Earth. In the newborn solar system, chaos ruled. There were no boundaries, no calm skies, no peace between worlds. Dozens of planet-sized bodies raced around the sun like wild bullets, colliding, merging, and dying in the cosmic arena. Among them was Theia, a glowing sphere of rock and metal, the size of Mars, following a path that would one day intersect with destiny itself. For millions of years, Theia drifted near Earth's orbit, trapped in a fragile gravitational waltz. Sometimes it drew closer, sometimes farther, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Then one day the balance broke. A shift in gravity, maybe from another passing planet, tilted Theia's orbit just enough, and in that moment an unstoppable fate began to unfold. Theia was no comet, no asteroid. It was a world with mountains, molten rivers, and an iron heart. As it hurtled toward Earth at nearly 25,000 miles per hour, there was no warning, no escape. The two planets collided with unimaginable force, a blow so powerful it nearly tore the Earth apart. The sky turned white hot, brighter than 1,000 suns. The very crust of Earth, everything solid and sure, melted into vapor. In a single deafening instant, both worlds became one. Mountains evaporated. Oceans of magma erupted into the void. The collision released more energy than 1,000,000 nuclear bombs per second. Fragments of Earth and Theia exploded into space. Fiery rivers of molten stone forming a ring around what was left of the Earth. But out of that chaos, the universe began to sculpt something new. The debris that circled Earth didn't scatter away. Gravity, patient, persistent gravity, gathered it together. Over thousands of years, those shattered pieces clumped, fused, and cooled. Slowly, they formed a sphere, pale, cratered, and ghostly. That sphere became our moon. Yet the story isn't just about creation through destruction. It's about connection. Scientists discovered that the rocks brought back from the moon are chemically identical to Earth's crust. Every isotope, every signature of oxygen and silicon, a perfect match. It means the moon wasn't born somewhere else, it was born from us. It carries Earth's DNA, our oldest scars, our shared past. Imagine that every time you look up at the moon, you're not seeing a stranger, you're seeing a missing piece of home, a fragment torn from the body of our world in its earliest agony. The moon isn't a visitor in our sky, it's a twin, a survivor, a reminder that beauty can rise from annihilation. But Theia didn't vanish completely. Deep within the Earth's mantle, geophysicists have discovered strange, dense regions, enormous blobs, buried thousands of miles beneath the surface. Some believe these are the remnants of Theia itself, still trapped within us, fused into the bones of the planet. Earth, in a very real way, carries the remains of the world that gave us the moon. That impact didn't just create a satellite, it created the rhythm of life. Without the moon, Earth would spin wildly, its days just hours long, its climate unstable, its seas silent and still. But Theia's sacrifice changed everything. The moon's gravitational pull slowed Earth's spin, calmed its chaos, and gave us balance. The steady 24-hour day, the gentle tides, the heartbeat of our oceans. So when you stand under a full moon and feel something ancient stir inside you, that strange sense of awe and belonging, it's because part of you is up there. The moon is not separate. It is a scar turned into light, a tragedy rewritten as a promise. The universe didn't give us the moon gently. It tore it from our flesh in fire and silence. But that's how the cosmos works, creation through collision, beauty born from destruction. And maybe, somewhere in that endless sky, Theia still drifts in spirit, not lost, but remembered every time Earth looks up at her shining child. The moment Theia struck Earth, the universe witnessed a transformation so violent, so breathtakingly destructive, that it reshaped the destiny of our planet forever. It wasn't a soft impact, not a gentle merging of two celestial bodies. It was the ultimate act of cosmic violence. Imagine a world the size of Mars slamming into a molten Earth with the energy of 1 billion hydrogen bombs. The very crust of the young planet shattered, mountains melted in seconds. Oceans of magma burst upward, vaporizing into space. For a brief, unthinkable moment, there was no solid Earth, no surface, no sky, only a swirling, incandescent inferno stretching into the void. The force of the collision was so immense that the impact literally carved out a portion of Earth's outer layers, flinging it into orbit in a ring of molten debris. It wasn't just an explosion. It was cosmic surgery, a brutal extraction that removed part of Earth's skin and cast it into the heavens. This ring of vaporized rock glowed brighter than the sun as it circled the wounded Earth, spinning faster and faster, shaping itself under the relentless pull of gravity. In the aftermath, the world below was unrecognizable. The surface was an endless ocean of lava. The atmosphere glowed red hot, filled with metallic vapor, iron dust, and stone rain. The heat from the impact lasted for millions of years, and even from space, the young Earth looked like a blazing ember, a scared, shining sphere drifting through darkness. But amid this destruction, the seeds of something miraculous were forming. The debris ring around Earth began to cool, and within it, countless fragments collided, fused, and merged. Slowly, over thousands of years, those glowing shards gathered into a single, immense body, a new world taking shape beside the ruins of the old. The moon was being born. It didn't happen all at once. The process was violent, chaotic, and endless. Each new collision within the debris field released bursts of heat and light. Rivers of molten rock splashed across the growing surface of the moon, creating vast seas of lava that would eventually cool into the dark plains we see today. Every crater, every ridge, every silent valley on the moon's face tells the story of that fiery beginning, a time when both worlds were still bleeding from the same wound. When scientists look at the moon now, they don't just see a companion planet, they see a mirror. Lunar rocks, brought back from Apollo missions, revealed something astonishing. Their chemical makeup was nearly identical to Earth's outer crust. This discovery was the smoking gun. It proved that the moon wasn't captured from somewhere else in the solar system. It wasn't a foreign traveler caught by Earth's gravity. It was born from Earth itself. It was once part of us. The moon's creation also changed the physics of our world in ways we're still feeling today. That single impact altered the planet's rotation, tilted its axis, and slowed its spin. Before the collision, a day on Earth might have lasted only a few hours. But as the moon formed and began orbiting, its gravity acted as a brake, stretching and pulling on Earth's molten body until the rotation slowed to the familiar 24-hour rhythm we now live by. Think about that. Every sunrise, every sunset, every heartbeat of time we measure is a gift of that impact. The length of our days, the rhythm of our lives, the pace of our planet, all were set by the cosmic violence that once nearly destroyed us, and yet out of that devastation came stability. The moon's gravitational embrace calmed Earth's wild wobble, preventing the planet from tumbling chaotically through space. That stability allowed climates to form, oceans to settle, and eventually, life to emerge. The collision that might have been the end of the world became its greatest beginning. From molten ruin rose balance, from fire came harmony. The moon, glowing silently in our night sky, is more than just a satellite. It's the scar that healed, the piece of Earth that rose again to keep watch over us. When you look up at it tonight, remember this: that perfect sphere of light was once a storm of fire, born from a wound so deep it split a planet. The moon is not just Earth's companion, it's our reflection, our history, and the proof that sometimes destruction is the universe's way of creating something eternal. When astronauts first brought pieces of the moon back to Earth, no one truly knew what to expect. Some believed the moon was a wandering body captured by Earth's gravity, a stranger that happened to get stuck in orbit. Others thought it might have formed alongside Earth, born together from the same cosmic cloud. But the truth waiting inside those gray rocks, silent, ancient, and unyielding, told a story far more intimate and far more astonishing. Under the microscopes of scientists, the moon's samples began to speak. They carried within them isotopes, the atomic fingerprints of oxygen, silicon, titanium, and other elements that were unlike anything else known beyond Earth. And then came the shock. Those fingerprints were identical to Earth's. Not similar, not close, identical. The atoms in the moon's rocks matched the atoms of Earth's crust as if they had once been one and the same. It was as though the moon itself had been carved from the flesh of our planet. That discovery changed everything. It erased the notion of the moon as a stranger. Instead, it became something far more personal, a fragment of Earth's own body, flung into the sky during a time of unimaginable violence. The theory of Theia's collision, once just a bold guess, suddenly became undeniable. Only an impact so massive, so world-shattering, could have fused two planetary bodies together so completely that their very chemical identities became indistinguishable. Imagine that moment in deep time. Earth, molten and glowing, spinning through the void after its collision with Theia, fragments of its crust and mantle hurled into orbit, merging, cooling, and finally becoming the moon. For billions of years since, that broken piece of Earth has orbited its parent world, locked forever in the dance that began with catastrophe. Every time we gaze up at it, we're not looking at something foreign, we're seeing ourselves reflected in ancient stone. The bond between Earth and Moon is deeper than gravity. They share not only material but memory. Every grain of lunar dust carries whispers of the same minerals that formed our mountains, our continents, our oceans. It's as if Earth's memory was split in two. Half remained here underfoot, and half was set adrift in the night sky to watch over us. And there's more. The Moon's very surface preserves what Earth has lost. While our planet's crust was recycled by plate tectonics, erosion, and life, the Moon has remained untouched, a museum of cosmic history. The scars that pockmark its face are frozen time capsules, holding the story of the solar system's earliest days. The craters, the plains, the endless silence, they are what Earth once was. To look at the Moon is to look backward through time into a mirror that never aged. This shared origin explains so much about why we feel what we feel when we look up. Humanity has always been drawn to the Moon, painting it in myth, in music, in longing. Perhaps deep down, we've always recognized it as part of ourselves. It's the ultimate symbol of connection. The idea that from destruction, unity can be born, from separation, beauty can emerge. The Moon reminds us that we are not whole without the things we've lost. The isotopic match between Earth and Moon also reveals a poetic truth hidden in science. Even when worlds collide, something endures. Their identities may merge, their forms may shatter, but the essence remains, carried forward in every orbit, every tide, every night of quiet light. The Moon's existence proves that chaos can create harmony, and that loss can give rise to something everlasting. And perhaps, in some way, the Moon is Earth's memory made visible, a constant reminder of what it took for our planet to become what it is. It watches as continents drift, as life evolves, as humans lift their eyes in wonder. It pulls the oceans, guides the tides, and keeps Earth steady, all while carrying the same atomic heritage buried within our stones. So the next time you see the Moon hanging above the horizon, pale, calm, eternal, remember what it truly is. Not a distant companion, not a mysterious satellite, but a missing piece of home. A part of Earth that once burned in the fires of creation, torn away yet never lost. It is the oldest connection we have, a bridge across 4.5 billion years, a silent testimony that even the greatest destruction can forge unbreakable bonds. The Moon carries our story in its bones. Every crater, every shadow, every reflection of sunlight on its surface is a message from the time before time, saying that we are never alone. Because part of us is up there, still circling, still glowing, still waiting to remind us where we came from. Long before there were oceans and forests, before continents drifted into shape, before the first breath of life stirred in the ancient seas, Earth was wild, restless, and unstable. It spun too fast, tilted too far, and its face was racked by violent storms that came and vanished without rhythm or reason. The young planet was beautiful, but chaotic, a world without balance. And then came the Moon. When that colossal collision with Theia forged our Moon, it did more than sculpt a new companion in the sky. It gave Earth something it desperately needed: stability. The Moon became the cosmic hand that steadied a trembling world. Through its silent pull, its endless orbit, its invisible grip on the oceans and crust, the Moon tamed Earth's madness and set the stage for life to take root. Without that pull, Earth would be unrecognizable. The Moon's gravity acts as an anchor, locking Earth's spin at a steady tilt of about 23.5 degrees. That tilt gives us seasons, the slow, graceful breathing of our planet, but it also keeps our climate predictable. Without the Moon, Earth's tilt would wobble wildly, shifting between extremes every few thousand years. Imagine a world where one century sees ice stretching to the equator, and the next burns beneath unending heat. That's what life would face without the Moon's quiet control. Scientists have simulated this alternate Earth, a world without a Moon. It's not peaceful. The planet tips and tumbles chaotically, its poles wandering, its weather collapsing into extremes. Entire ecosystems would vanish before they even began. The Moon, distant yet devoted, prevents that chaos. Its gravity locks Earth's axis in place like a hand steadying a spinning top. Because of it, our world has balance. Because of it, the rhythm of life could emerge. But the Moon's gift goes beyond the skies. It reaches deep into the oceans. Every day, as it circles us, the Moon pulls at the seas, drawing water toward it, creating tides that breathe in and out with perfect regularity. These tides were not just a curiosity of nature, they were the cradle of life itself. In those ancient tidal pools, where land met sea, molecules danced to the rhythm of the Moon. Water rose and fell, concentrating the chemical soup of early Earth, giving primitive life its first chances to form and evolve. Without tides, without that gentle pull, perhaps life would never have left the darkness of the deep. Even today, the Moon continues to guide the heartbeat of our planet. The tides shape coastlines, feed ecosystems, and regulate the chemistry of the oceans. The Moon's pull affects volcanic activity, the rotation of the Earth, even the length of our days. Slowly, imperceptibly, it's been stretching Earth's rotation for billions of years. Every century, our days grow longer by a fraction of a second because of the Moon's grip. It is quite literally slowing time for us. And though it hangs so far away, nearly 240,000 miles, the moon and Earth are locked in a gravitational embrace so perfect that they move as one. As the moon orbits, it shows us only one face, a cosmic reflection of devotion. It's tidally locked, forever turned toward us, as if watching over its parent. This dance has lasted for billions of years, and it will continue long after we are gone. It's strange to think that something born from destruction became our planet's protector. The very force that could have shattered Earth's chance at life instead gave it the calm it needed to flourish. The moon's presence transformed Earth from a wild, unstable sphere into a world of rhythm and order. Day and night, high tide and low tide, summer and winter. All these cycles exist because of that steady companion glowing in the night sky. Even the evolution of life itself has been shaped by the moon's touch. Creatures learn to follow its light, to live by its cycles. Corals spawn in sync with lunar phases. Birds navigate by its glow. Humans mark time in myth by its silver reflection. The moon became more than a satellite. It became a clock, a compass, a storyteller written across the heavens. And yet, for all its power, it remains silent, just a cold sphere of rock holding the Earth steady from afar. But that silence is deceptive. The moon's influence echoes in every wave, every wind, every steady turn of the planet. It's the unseen architect of Earth's peace. So when we look up and see that familiar glow rising above the horizon, we're not just seeing beauty, we're seeing balance. The moon is the reason our world doesn't spin into chaos, the reason life had time to learn, grow, and dream. It is the unseen guardian, forged in violence yet devoted to harmony. Without it, Earth would be lost, spinning, staggering, unpredictable. But because it exists, we have calm seas, gentle skies, and the gift of stability. The moon doesn't just light our nights, it keeps our world alive. When the young Earth was struck by Theia, the colossal impact did more than give birth to the moon. It forever altered the way our planet spins, tilts, and lives. The force of that unimaginable collision tilted Earth on its side, setting its axis at a delicate angle of about 23.5 degrees. That single moment, that cosmic strike, sculpted the rhythm of every sunrise, every snowfall, every season we've ever known. Without it, our world would have been a place without pattern or pause, a planet without the heartbeat of change. Before that impact, Earth may have spun upright with no tilt at all. If that had continued, the sun would rise and fall the same way every day, casting identical shadows, burning or freezing the same regions endlessly. There would be no spring thaw, no summer bloom, no autumn fading, no winter sleep, only monotony. The planet would have been locked in a permanent sameness, its climates fixed and unforgiving. Life, if it had ever managed to emerge, would have struggled to adapt to such rigidity. The collision that nearly destroyed our world instead made it alive with motion, with contrast, with story. The tilt created by the moon, forming impact, turned Earth into a planet of rhythm, a world that breathes. Because of that tilt, sunlight strikes different parts of the globe at different times of the year, giving rise to seasons. In summer, the hemisphere angled toward the sun basks in long, bright days and warmth. In winter, that same land leans away, wrapped in darkness and cold. This cycle has shaped everything: the migration of animals, the blooming of plants, the flow of rivers, the birth and death of civilizations. Every living thing on this planet, in one way or another, dances to the music of that 20.5-degree tilt. Imagine a world without that variation. The equator would bake beneath an endless, merciless sun, while the poles would freeze in eternal shadow. The beauty of contrast, the delicate balance between growth and rest, warmth and cold, would vanish. The tilt gives Earth diversity. It writes the script of survival. It teaches every species the language of change. The impact didn't just tilt the Earth, it also began the long process of slowing its furious spin. Before that cosmic collision, a day on Earth may have lasted only 5 or 6 hours, a blur of light and darkness, too short for complex patterns of weather or life to develop. But when Theia struck, the energy transfer altered the planet's rotation, and the newly formed moon began to exert its steady gravitational pull. Over billions of years, that pull slowed Earth's spin to the gentle 24-hour rhythm we now live by. Every hour we count, every day we measure exists because of that collision in the deep past. It's almost poetic. From chaos came time itself. The moon's influence stretched our days, softened our nights, and allowed Earth to cool, stabilize, and nurture life. The tides, governed by the moon, began to sync with the turning of the planet, creating a perfect balance between motion and stillness. Without that tilt, without that rhythm, there might never have been us to marvel at it all. The seasons didn't just shape landscapes, they shaped minds. They taught early humans to measure change, to understand cycles, to plant, harvest, and adapt. Civilizations rose on the patterns written in the sky. The first calendars, carved into stone and bone, were built around the tilt's steady song, the return of the sun, the coming of spring, the promise of renewal. The moon's role in that cosmic alignment was essential, anchoring Earth's axis so it wouldn't sway too far, keeping the tilt steady enough to make seasons reliable. Even now, as our planet drifts through the vast emptiness of space, that ancient angle remains. It wobbles gently over tens of thousands of years, but the moon's gravitational grip ensures it never swings into chaos. The same collision that shattered Earth and birthed the moon also gave us the comfort of predictability, the whisper that after every winter, there will always be a spring. Think about that for a moment. Every snowflake that falls, every golden autumn leaf, every monsoon and desert bloom, all of it traces back to a day billions of years ago when two worlds collided. The seasons are the echoes of that impact. The very reason we feel time passing, not just in hours, but in the turning of the year, is because of the moon's invisible hand. The universe works in paradoxes. Destruction creates life. Violence gives birth to harmony. The collision that could have annihilated Earth instead gave it character, color, and rhythm. Because of that tilt, because of that celestial accident, we live on a world that changes, renews, and endures. So when you feel the warmth of summer sunlight on your skin, or watch the first snow fall in winter's hush, remember this: those moments began not here, but in the fires of creation, when a world collided with another and the earth found its balance in the chaos. In the quiet darkness of deep time, after the fire and fury of creation had settled, earth began to cool. The molten seas hardened into rock, the sky cleared of choking vapor, and the moon, that pale newborn companion, began its eternal orbit. Its presence transformed the young world in ways that went far beyond beauty. The moon became the silent architect of life itself. Its gravity shaped the oceans, its light guided the first forms of life, and its existence became the difference between a barren planet and one that could breathe, evolve, and dream. In those early ages, when Earth was still wrapped in oceans that stretched endlessly under a crimson sky, the moon's pull was far stronger than it is today. It hovered closer, nearly 10 times nearer, looming large and bright, tugging at the seas with tremendous force. The tides then were not gentle waves caressing the shore. They were colossal surges of water that swept across continents, carving the edges of the planet and stirring its chemistry. These tides created a rhythm, a heartbeat that pulls through the world. And in that rhythm, life found its first opportunity. In shallow tidal pools, as water rose and fell in a steady lunar pattern, simple molecules were drawn together, concentrated by evaporation and warmth. The moon's pull mixed oceans like a cosmic spoon, blending minerals, heat, and energy in just the right proportions for complexity to begin. Scientists believe that these very tides may have created the conditions for the first chains of amino acids, the foundations of life, to link together. Without those rising and falling seas, Earth might have remained chemically still, lifeless, and silent. Over time, that same lunar influence continued to shape the destiny of every living thing. The tides carved coastlines and created the first habitats, intertidal zones rich with nutrients and movement. In these shifting environments, life learned resilience. It learned to adapt, to crawl, to breathe air. It learned to follow the moon. Even today, countless species still live by its rhythm. Corals release their eggs and sink with the full moon. Sea turtles crawl ashore, guided by its glow. The moon's presence is written into the very DNA of life's timing, an ancient pact between sky and sea, written long before humanity appeared. But the moon's impact didn't stop with biology. It sculpted the physical and emotional world that humans would one day inherit. Its gravitational pull slowed Earth's rotation, calming the violent winds and shortening the chaos of ancient storms. It stabilized the planet's tilt, ensuring climates that could sustain forests, oceans, and eventually civilizations. It gifted the night with light, a mirror reflecting the sun, giving early humans guidance, awe, and mystery. Without the moon, nights would have been pure blackness, the tides still, the earth unstable, and perhaps the story of life unwritten. Think of what that means. The moon, born from catastrophe, became the mother of calm, the midwife of creation. The same collision that nearly destroyed Earth also birthed the very conditions that would one day allow humanity to rise. Every wave that crashes, every breath that life takes, every rhythm that beats inside a living creature, all of it carries the echo of that cosmic beginning. The moon's gravity doesn't just shape the seas, it shapes us. It controls the invisible balance that keeps the world alive. Without its steady hand, Earth's tilt would drift wildly, climates would collapse, and evolution might never have found its steady pace. The moon's presence gave our planet the rarest gift of all, time. Time for complexity, time for growth, time for life. So when you look up tonight and see that soft silver light washing over the world, remember, you are looking at your origin story. The moon isn't just a light in the darkness. It's the ancient scar that became salvation, the silent witness to everything Earth has ever been and ever will be. That was our 6th chapter in the History Before Humans series, The Moon's Origin, the day Earth was hit. If you haven't watched the previous topic, the Great Tilt, the collision that gave us seasons, make sure to check it out. The link is in the bio. It reveals how that same cosmic impact shaped our planet's balance and gave us the cycle of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Next up in our series, When Earth Was Purple, the alien colors of early life. We'll dive into the surreal time when our planet wasn't green, but painted in strange violet hues, a world ruled by microscopic life that saw light differently and changed Earth forever. Until then, Keep your eyes on the sky, because every time you see the moon, you're looking at the moment when destruction gave birth to everything.